What you're about to watch is from the most recent live stream. This is the actual math that I go through to find the CR numbers and compare it to what's printed. And with that intro out of the way, let's get right into the video. Anyways, let's jump over to my handy little tool here, which has been reset, and start looking over the Duergar Despot and see what we have. So right off the bat, we have, let's go into print screen. We've got our base stats over here, and I will be solely focusing on these two items right here, the armor class, hit points, and constitution, because we won't be needing any of the other items for the chart like wisdom and charisma. So we have an AC of 21, which is natural. That's impressive. It's a medium monster with 14 hit dice and a constitution score of 19. So already we're shifting around here, and we're getting a DC 7 already on the left side of the screen here, which is pretty impressive right off the bat. And the AC is what's doing most of the heavy lifting here, because that effective AC of 21 is already pretty high, pretty high over the expected. All right, next we have, like I said, let's also put in the expected CR. So this is expected to be a CR 12, which is important for hit point modifications and finding CRs and whatnot. Now let's take a look at the next section here, which will be the skills section. And we've only got 2 saving throws right here. So we don't have to worry about that. The save proficiencies. Why do I call it proficiency? Anyways, there's only 2 saves, and that is going to result in a +0 AC bonus, so we won't have to worry about adding those in. And then the next item is damage immunities, and there's only 1 damage immunity condition, so I always ignore anything with 1 or 2 conditions in the damage immunities or resistances. Excuse me. So unless there is a drastic change or drastic range or something's off, I'm not going to include the damage immunities into the calculations just yet. Generally speaking, my rules here have held pretty good. So we don't have to worry about adding in anything here. So next we can look at the traits, the traits section here. So let's take a look at our traits and see what we have. So right off the bat, we have innate spellcasting, which we have, let's see, what do we have for innate spellcasting? We have Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Counterspell, Misty Step, and Stinking Cloud. I don't think any of these are going to make much of a difference. The only one might be Stinking Cloud, but I think that just adds in a condition modifier. Let me look that up real quick. Come on, give me the... Ooh, excuse me. Huh. Alright, Stinking Cloud doesn't seem to want to be showing up. Oh. There we go. Okay. So, right, there's no damage with Stinking Cloud. It's just a DC check to basically, what are we looking at here? Make the characters indisposed for a round or 2. So we won't exactly count that in either. Stinking Cloud may be handy later on, as well as possibly even Misty Step could be beneficial. But for the moment, we're going to skip all of those. Now, we've got a big one here. Magic resistance. This is going to be important, and we will go ahead and actually add that in now. So we'll come over here to the left side and just tick off magic resistance to give it another +2 effective AC bonus. So our 21 has jumped up to 23, as we see up here in the calculation section for effective AC. Now, let's take a look at Psychic Engine, and Sunlight Sensitivity. Now, I already know that Sunlight Sensitivity is going to be no effect. There's just nothing going on here, so we don't have to worry about Sunlight Sensitivity. But Psychic Engine, what does this do? When the Duergar Despot suffers a critical hit or is reduced to 0 hit points, psychic energy erupts from its frame to deal 14 psychic damage to each creature within 5 feet of it. Okay. So there is a chance for this to go off, but it's not guaranteed, especially not until the end. But it could be similar, it could be considered similar to Death Burst, like the Magman I have on the left side. So let's use that there. That could be a good place to put Psychic Engine in. All right, so we will add Death Burst here, and we will tick in, what we're saying, 14 average damage. And this is going to result in an additional +9 damage per round, since it only gets added in once. It could be added in more if the heroes or players critically hit, but for most likely we're not going to be seeing any critical hits, and we can't calculate that in because there's, in most cases, only a 5% chance of a critical hit anyways. So we'll use this as a death burst like the Mephits and go from there. All right, next we're gonna take a look at the attack section and see what's going on there. All right, so our Despot has multi-attack, Iron Fist, Stomping Foot, and Flame Jet. In the multi-attack, the Despot gets to do 2 Iron Fist attacks and 2 Stomping Foot attacks. Okay. It can replace up to 4 of these attacks with uses of its Flame Jet. What? Okay, wow. Man, that's... okay, oof, this is going to be hard. All right, so up in the top section here, which I will highlight here, I use this as like a rough like scratch pad area to put in numbers and whatnot. So we're gonna say the multi-attack for that spot, the Iron Fist here, Stomping Foot, and lastly Flame Jet. Alright, so working backwards, the Duergar spews flame in a 100-foot long and 5-foot wide line. Each creature in the line makes a DC 16... You gotta be kidding me. So this thing can do it repeatedly. It can replace up to 4 of these attacks with uses of its Flame Jet. So, yeah, the Flame Jet can be done every round. Normally something like this has a refresh of at least 5 to 6. In some cases, I would even expect a 4 to 6, making it like a 50-50 chance of it coming back each round. This is just allowing it to be done every round 4 times in a row, provided you can at least get 2 targets in there. So we're looking at a lot of damage already. So, all right, we're going to do a little Excel math here and start putting in the damage. So... DC 16 deck save and 18. All right, so we're gonna do 18 times 2 because, well, you can have up to 2 people failing. And that's what we're expecting since this is an AoE attack. We're gonna have 2 potentially failed targets. Stomping Foot, working backwards. Let's see here, 1 target for 9 bludgeoning damage, or 18 to a prone target. All right, let's take a look here. Is there any way for the Despot to make someone prone? Nothing in the spells, which again, the innate spellcasting for this is kind of odd, but whatever. I mean, I understand it's from the Mind Flayers and whatnot, but okay. Stomping Foot. So we're going to suggest just standing for now, since there's no way for the Despot to go and make someone prone. So let's start with that for now. And if we need to up the damage to reach the DC or the CR12, we may need to look at that. So I'm just going to put a little... What did I do? I put a little asterisk there. to try and remember that later on. And this is going to be 9.5 damage for the Stomping Foot. And Iron Fist. Let's see here. Iron Fist. Wow. Okay. Oh, no. It does make the target land prone. I'm sorry. I didn't read all the way through it. So the Iron Fist does make targets land prone, but they get pushed up to 30 feet away. And the Despot can only move 25 feet. There's something wrong there. All right. Anyways. Wow. Takes an additional bit of bludgeoning damage. Okay. So we're going to say, I'm a little flabbergasted by that, 14 plus an additional 10.5 points of bludgeoning damage for a total of 24. So if things are correct here, then I'm already seeing that I'm just going to use flame jets all the time with the Duergar Despot. I mean, I could do Iron Fist a whole bunch of times. We could do that. Yeah, let's see here. 4 times this to get 98 points of damage. But why would I want to do that when I can just do 4 flame jets all the time and get 144 points of damage? Oh, okay. With you, yeah, okay. Read as written. Totally says, you know, it can replace these with up to 4 of these attacks. That's bonkers. I'm just gonna highlight that with some green, because draw attention to that a little later on if I haven't done enough already. All right, so in our offensive section, we're going to add in our multi-attack damage for 144. And my laptop keeps going dark for some silly reason. Let me pause for a moment while I fix my laptop, because my laptop doesn't want to stay powered on for some reason. Let's just not turn any of that off for now, and I will fix that later. Okay. All right, so now we need to check off the uses saves, because we're using the flame jet, and we're going to be using the flame jet all the time. So we're going to tick that for the saves. I mean, all it does is just switches it to difficulty check, but I'm sure in my calculations in the background it's also important. And then we switch this to DC 16. And sure enough, we've got no vulnerabilities, nothing to worry about with immunities. And I'm seeing a big old whopping... Oh, there we go. CR 14. We're supposed to have a CR 12, and we're getting a CR 14. Yeah. So we seem to have an underrated Duergar Despot. All right. So what could be doing this? Well, first of all, probably the flame jets. So let's swap that out and see what happens if we switch from the flame jets to all just iron fists. Like, you know, the Duergar is surrounded by a bunch of melee, like a barbarian and a fighter, and the rogues on the backside, and they're just like bop, bop, bop. Okay. Let's clear that out and switch this to Iron Fist instead. So we have damage per round, 98. We take off the difficulty check and we switch that to 9 to hit. And we still have a slightly bigger... We still have a slightly higher CR rating. So our... interesting. I don't know how I did that. But anyways. So even with just 4 Iron Fist punches from the Despot, we're looking at a CR 13 versus the expected CR 12. All right, let's try one more thing. Let's get rid of the Death Burst, because who knows how long this thing's going to last. All right, if we get rid of the Death Burst, from Psychic Engine, because with an AC 21 and magic resistance, this is gonna be... I see combat lasting longer than is necessary. So this is how we fix this Duergar Despot. We gotta not use flame jets, at least not all 4 flame jets, and we don't calculate in the death burst of the Psychic Engine. And we have our CR12. Otherwise, we have upwards of a CR14, which, if you know my videos and my shorts, I always go for the most amount of damage I'm allowed. And that's going to be flame jets all the time. So technically, with the flame jets, let's go back to that just to highlight it. Oops, what did I do here? Flame jets there, tick that, go back to 16. If I'm using flame jets all the time, every round, and I'm including in the death burst, which doesn't really do much right now, this part, this is a CR14. I don't know, is this thing a construct? What is going on? Is this a Duergar riding in a big old machine, or is it got stuff strapped to it? What's going on here? Anyways, so we have a CR14 in my opinion. And there you have it. That's how you break down and expose the monster's CR values. If you like what you've seen, hit the subscribe button down below and give the video a thumbs up. I post daily, and until next time, thanks for watching.